Right now, you are sitting in a room, looking at a screen, completely safe. But inside your head, a completely different story is playing out. You are replaying that awkward thing you said to your coworker 3 days ago. You are analyzing the exact tone of a text message you received this morning. You are wondering why you made that mistake on your project last year. Modern psychology calls this rumination, and you probably think it is a personal flaw. You think your mind is just uniquely bad at letting go of the past. But the real answer is far stranger, and it has nothing to do with your flaws. Your brain is not broken. It is working exactly as it was designed to. To understand why you cannot stop living in yesterday, we have to look at the Serengeti. 2 million years ago, your ancestors did not have the luxury of existential dread. They had a much simpler, much more terrifying problem: staying alive until tomorrow. Every bush could hide a predator. Every strange berry could be a lethal poison. In a world that hostile, a happy, relaxed brain was an absolute evolutionary death sentence. If an early human forgot about the time they almost got eaten by a big cat, they died. If they forgot which water hole made them sick, they did not pass on their genes. Dr. Rick Hansen calls this the negativity bias of the human brain. He famously explains that your brain is like Velcro for negative experiences, but Teflon for positive ones. Your ancestors survived because their minds treated mistakes as matter of life and death. They built a massive, biological filing system dedicated entirely to bad memories. When you remember a good meal, you smile and move on with your day. When you remember a threat, your amygdala fires up, your heart rate increases, and you panic. Why does this happen? Because your survival depended on never making the exact same mistake twice. In the 1990s, neuroscientist Dr. Marcus Raichle made a groundbreaking and accidental discovery. He put people into brain scanners and asked them to perform difficult, focused tasks. As expected, the parts of the brain responsible for logic and attention lit up instantly. But then, he told the participants to just sit there and do absolutely nothing. He assumed their brains would go quiet, cooling down like a car engine at a red light. Instead, the exact opposite happened. A massive, highly connected network of brain regions suddenly burst with electrical activity. Raichle named this the default mode network, or the DMN. Your DMN is the background software that boots up the moment you stop paying attention. When you are doing the dishes, driving a familiar route, or staring out a window, the DMN takes over. And what does this massive network do with all that processing power? It acts as a time machine. It automatically drags your awareness backward into the past or forward into the future. It constructs a narrative of your life, starring you, and reviews every single chapter. It asks, what did they mean by that? What should I have done instead? This is not an accident. Your brain dedicates immense energy to keeping this time machine running. If you let it, your mind will spend half its waking hours wandering through yesterday. But why does the time machine skew so heavily toward your worst moments? The answer lies in another psychological phenomenon known as the Zygarnik effect. Bluma Zygarnik, a Soviet psychologist, noticed something strange while sitting in a busy restaurant. The waiters could remember complex orders for dozens of tables without writing anything down. But the moment the food was delivered and the bill was paid, something changed. The waiters completely forgot everything about those orders within minutes. Zygarnik proved that the human brain hates unfinished business. Your mind holds on to uncompleted tasks with a tight, iron grip, creating cognitive tension. The moment a task is finished, your brain finally releases that tension and deletes the file. Now, think about your social interactions or your professional mistakes. A positive interaction is a finished task. It went well, it is safe, it is closed. But an awkward conversation or an unresolved conflict is an open loop. Your brain views it as an unfinished puzzle that could still represent a threat to your social survival. Because the past cannot be changed, the loop can never truly be closed. So your Zygarnik-driven brain keeps throwing the memory back into your conscious mind. It is desperately shouting, "Fix this puzzle, close this loop, make it safe." You are trapped in a loop of trying to fix a past that is completely unfixable. To make matters worse, your ancient brain has not caught up to the modern world. For millions of years, human survival depended entirely on the tribe. If your ancestors were cast out of the group, they faced certain death in the wilderness. Social rejection was literally a death sentence. Today, a passive-aggressive email from your boss or a weird look from a friend triggers that same ancient survival panic. Your brain does not see a minor social mishap. It sees the threat of exile. It replays the moment repeatedly because it wants to ensure you never get thrown out of the tribe. The mechanism meant to save your life on the savannah is now making you miserable in your bedroom. You are using a supercomputer designed for hunting mammoths to analyze a 5-second interaction. Is there a way to break out of this ancient evolutionary trap? Dr. Ethan Kross, a psychologist at the University of Michigan, discovered a simple, powerful tool called distance self-talk. When you ruminate, you use first-person pronouns. Why did I say that? What is wrong with me? This internal language keeps you completely locked inside the emotional center of the storm. Cross found that if you switch your internal language to the second or third person, the brain shifts. By asking, "Why did you say that?" or using your own name, you create psychological distance. You instantly trick your brain into viewing the memory as if it happened to someone else. The amygdala calms down, the emotional panic fades, and the default mode network relaxes. You cannot stop the time machine from turning on, but you can change how you ride it. You can recognize the rumination not as a flaw, but as an ancient alarm system. The next time your mind drags you back to yesterday, take a deep breath and look around. Realize that your brain is just trying to keep you safe from predators that no longer exist. You do not have to fix the past. You just have to acknowledge why your mind is visiting it. Because right now, you are sitting in a room, looking at a screen, completely safe.